Welcome back, everybody. We are here today with Heather Mansour. I'm super excited for this because we're going to touch on some topics about what's going on in the leadership development, talent acquisition marketplaces, and we promise to be able to give you some value today. So we'll have a quick conversation here. Stick around for us 20, 25 minutes, no longer than that. But everything we tell you today is going to be able to help you maximize your own results. So Heather, welcome. I'm super excited to talk with you. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you, James, for inviting me, and I look forward to helping others.
Awesome. Now, we had a quick talk before we came on air about those pictures behind you. So I would love for you to share your passion. Yeah, we talked quickly about your passion, but please share your passion. So I think people always like look in the background, see what's going on. So tell us a little bit about those images you told me. So let's start there.
Well, my passion and go-to is travel culture. I truly love the ocean, as you can see behind me. So, this is Greece. One day I'd like to travel there. And, it's kind of my motivation and my go-to, especially, after COVID and during tough times. So, I love to be at the beach. That's my go-to when I need a break.
Awesome. Well, like everybody, we are privileged. Heather is a chief human resources officer. She is the boss of people and talent management, talent development, leadership development, diversity, engagement, quality, equality, culture, the whole thing. So we've got somebody here who's been doing this for decades. And so you're going to get some really valuable insight. So with that said, Heather, my first question for you is, why do you do what you do? Tell us a little bit about how did you get into this and what do you love about it?
Yeah, so my passion is people. We believe people centric. I believe people centric.
Awesome.
And I think that aligns better with successful organizations. And I think we've come a long way from different culture in the past where, revenue is important to any organization, success is important, service is important. But the best way to get there is through your people and value and appreciate people. And so I learned that a long time ago. I think I was kind of ahead of the game, would you say, where culture's now catching up to that. But really come from a background of a military family. We traveled 13 military moves. I
Wow.
got to know culture and different people. I had different roles, and so I majored years ago in counseling. I was a counselor. And so just different areas brought me to where I am today of just the passion for people.
Yeah. That's great. So tell us a story. Tell us a people story. What's your favorite people story that you can share with us? It's kind of something, maybe a project or a program you're engaged with, or something about that journey you've been on that just guarantee, kind of cements for you. This is why I do what I do. Is there something that you can tell us that's a really good people story?
Yeah, so I worked with the military spouses where they were special ops. And so there were deployments of 8 months a year.
Wow.
And so I was treasurer and really supporting those that have never been away from home, maybe recently married, and then they were by themselves. And, you learn home is where your heart is when you move every 2 years. And so just, getting to know people in their own environment that they grew up in, sharing, what you learn about the community, how you can give back. As a counselor, I was in Colorado and really, really gave back by helping young adults. I taught anger management, I taught chemical dependency, adults, young adults, getting them out of prison systems at the time. And so just learning of what people can be passionate about themselves, right? Motivating them to become successful, and what's important to them. And I think sometimes that has been missed for people. And so if I can bring some positive light and I can encourage and motivate people, I just like to bring value that way.
Awesome. Yeah. So my hashtag is hashtag encourage. It's my word. I just want people to feel
Love
encouraged
it.
about me. Sounds like you have that as well. And I love that you're using the power of learning then to give people resources that allow them to, you described it as feel comfortable. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Those, because you mentioned some things in their topics where people connect to those easily about, how do we deal with shame and anger and hurt and guilt in our lives, life's hard, right? And there's this kind of glossy
That's right.
picture that it's not, and it really is hard for all of us. So how do you bring that? What resources can you give us examples of where you're helping people navigate that so that they know if I've got this structure, this framework, then I'm always going to be able to win. Can you give us an example of one of those?
Yeah, I'd love to. I look at things as building a solid foundation, right, in life, just like you would a house. And you can know job specifics, but one thing that is always, important in life as well as in the professional field is really building that base of the human skill set. A lot of times we'll get to know the job, functions, job specific. We'll get to do the education, which is important, or certifications, which are important.
Yeah.
But the human components of people are critical for success because people miss that, listening with empathy, caring about someone, making a personal difference and giving value to others, encouragement, engagement. And like you said, people fail. People always fail in life. Successful people fail. You never hear about that, but you hear about the good. You don't hear about the bad or how they got there. I failed, and sometimes people have a hard time with critical feedback, constructive feedback, but that's so critical to move forward, to learn and grow, that it's not personal, but take that to your advantage and make things even better in life.
I love that.
So,
Yeah, the listening piece you shared there. That like, I have this phrase, and some of people watching will have heard me say this before. But yeah, when we feel helpless, if we become helpful, it just changes our internal dialogue. It changes the energy that we show up with. So you saying listening with intent, having a more of an empathetic ear to what's going on around you. Yeah, I think that's really good. And so what do you think? Now you've said some of that. It kind of answered the question a little bit. It's kind of where I was going to go next is what do you think professionals, people you've come across in your industry or people you are working with outside of your own organization, where do you see some of the biggest mistakes they're making? And how could we share that information with them today? What kind of things do you think they should be focused on? Hey, these are common mistakes I see employees making. And then here are some advisory tips about things you could do. What do those look like?
yeah, I think there's a few things that I could kind of think of that would help people be successful. And the things that I have learned is you continue to grow no matter what. You want to be futuristic, that futuristic approach of learning and how you bring value to others. I think the best leaders are humble. I really do. I think those that, serve others. I mean, I look at it as I like to serve others. My success is from my team's success. It's from the organization's success. It's not just a you, but a we. I think that's critical to success. And listening to others. You want people to lead independently, but you want to challenge them too to make them better. And being able to take constructive feedback because as you grow, things get tougher, you learn from your mistakes, and when you're going through pain points, you stay positive, not negative. The negativity can really cycle someone down, and you stay positive and focused. And it may be a new road, but once you get through that road, you look back and say, I did it. And wow, what did I learn from this? So I think letting go of past things that happen is critical to success as well.
Yeah, that's a powerful theme. So what I'm hearing there is let's not see so much what you can get out of life and judging that. Your success isn't about what you can get or attain. Your success is actually measured by what you give in the service of others. And it's taken me so much time to scrape some of that filth off. For me, accumulation of wealth and seeing how much I could get my hands on was kind of how I measured my own success. It was a massive mistake because once I've let go of the attachment to those things, I'm much more fulfilled, I'm much more satiated, I'm much more content. And most of my work today is free, just giving people support exactly like that, helping people with strategies, giving them support, exactly as you say. And you mentioned about negativity. And I think, yeah, it is a stranglehold because the problem with negativity is that's our default biological program is to stay safe, stay secure, and
Mhm.
unconscious thinking is negative. by its design.
Mhm.
It's designed to protect you. Is why we survive. We survive because of that. But if we want to thrive, we do have to start thinking more positively about, where are we heading, and what are the things I want to do with some intention. So I love that. So now you've given us some tips and some good advice. One of the things I see in my business is I see an endless amount of talent. So, and it's why I would just want to encourage people to take that talent and use it for good. Um, but what I see is one of the gaps is they don't necessarily know how to execute that. And so my job is to help them do the execution. Have you got some examples about how do you think people can take some of these lessons and then actually execute them? Are there programs or processes or something you could help us with here? Give somebody a tip or two that's going to help them actually, like we could use positivity. How do they do positivity? What are the things that they need to be implementing?
Yeah, I love that. One of the things that we have done with our organization is created some pathways. And I would say anyone that for personal development could create their own pathway. And I think it's, looking at where do you want to be? Where do you want to be 3 years down the road? Where do you want to be 5 years down the road? Because everybody gets to a point where, hey, maybe what I've done for 10 years, I don't want to do that anymore. Maybe it's too stressful. Or maybe I want to travel, or maybe I want to reduce finances, and be more independent. There's multiple facets of life, right? Personal, professional. So understanding what your passion is. I've said that to my kids even when they were in car seats when they were little. It's like, okay, what do you want to do? And they're like, I don't know. Like, what do you not want to do? They know that right away. And just following your passion, because when you're passionate about something, you always give 100% towards that or more. And so finding that passion, what it takes, sometimes it takes a lot, it could take, time, it could take a lot of effort, but you don't give up. You don't give up. And it's stepping stones. A lot of times people will be like, okay, well, I just want to be here. And it's like, no, we got to take this stepping stone of, okay, what do we need to sacrifice? How much time does it take to prepare?
Oh,
Ooh,
here we go.
Bailey's he agrees with me. Bailey agrees, right, Bailey?
We said the dogs
And,
may show up. This is
he's like,
great.
"Yeah,
It's
I wanna
real.
be like a bulldog when he's a Havanese." So anyway, um, but, taking that time, and learning what it is, and do you wanna make a difference in life and what that is, and do you wanna travel? So I would say create a pathway, research it, know what you need education wise, certification wise, um, it's never too old to go back to school. It's never too old to learn and grow. When it comes to motivation, we do a lot of TED Talks, a lot of motivators. We do coffee chats, we do TED Talks, we do
Yeah.
leadership book clubs. I mean, just enjoying other people's company. And I've learned when you're around someone positive, you can feel that energy off of them, right? And staying around positive people helps you to be more positive and motivated. So find those people that,
Oh,
have got
powerful.
you, and help support your success.
There's so much in that, so I'm going to recap it because I don't want anyone who just watched what happened to miss it. So you started off with this career pathway, and that's something I espouse, and I talk to people about this and say, if you really want to make sure you get to the next role or the next level, your clarity around that career goal for you needs to be specific, measurable, and ideally you have a date around that about when do you want to accomplish this by. And you talked a little bit about looking out into the future, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. Now, I don't know whether, and we could test this maybe in another conversation, whether anyone has any idea where we'll all be in 5 years, but we've probably got a good sense for 12 months. So at least have a 12-month goal. And I love that. Then you talked about setting time. Yes, calendaring and scheduling the time it takes to focus with some intention on that goal. And most people are just going through the motions, grinding through the gears, turning up to work, and then they forget, oh, I'm actually nowhere near where I wanted to be. And it's because they haven't scheduled time. So you did that. Then you talked about learning and growing through skill development. And I love that. And so this kind of skill development is how I think you recession proof yourself and you AI proof yourself. You're hearing all this noise right now that AI will replace jobs. I don't think it will replace jobs, but it might replace
Mhm.
skill sets. So if your skill set is something that the AI can do, that's where you need a reskill. So I love that you said that as well. And I did not make a note of the fourth thing, but there was something else you said at the end there. Perhaps do you remember what you said right at the end of your piece? Oh, it was about getting around the right people. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you're
Mentors
not,
and yep.
if your expectation of your career is somewhere up here and you're down here, there's a pretty good bet that it does depend on who you're hanging around with. Because
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
expectations up here is a good job. The people you should be talking to, that theirs is too, or that they are already there. So, I'm glad we've met. So now Heather and I can have a chat after this and become buddies. Because I want to hang out with people who are doing the things that I love that they do. So that's really, really good. All right. So what inspires you about the work you do? So how do you get inspired? How do you get motivated? I want to give those lessons to people watching. So what lights you up?
Just making a difference and seeing people become successful, making an impact that is a success for them. I think, that is my passion, whether that's selfish for me, but it's really, I love helping others, and let's face it, we've been through one of the toughest pandemics. We've been through, 1 in 4 have depression and socialization stuff. And so our kids are having a hard time, with education. So from multiple generations in the workplace, and technology is so big, right? And ways to kind of just, if you fall forward, get back up. That's what makes us stronger. You get back up. And I think all my life I've learned, you get back up, you take the punches and you get back up, and how you lead yourself and how you lead others, it matters. It matters in life, it matters in work. You make a difference by just, people getting to know you and see you. You could be in a grocery store and little kids could be looking up to you, but they do. And so I think, one act of kindness just travels around the world. And that's what I like to do is, try to be humble, try to challenge people in a positive way and really motivate and make a difference in life of others.
Great. Yeah. I mean, it really comes across, we've known each other a very brief time and talking to you today. And I'm so glad to have you on because you are the epitome of living in service. And I think that's critical for people to hear. If you aren't happy in your roles right now, people, or you are out of a role and you were looking for a role, this one thing, just give more. Just don't worry about getting. Give more of yourself, help more people, serve more people, and you will notice that you will feel better anyway. But then that energy that you are giving out, it's like the generating energy from the inside and sharing that is the thing that's going to get you the connections and the people you need to be able to get to where you want to go. Yeah, I love all that stuff. Uh,
and
how
and
about you?
just to share,
Yeah, do that.
James, just to add, I look at it this way that, when people go through hard times, I've gone through hard times, you get back up. But what you also do is take the mindset of not what happened and dwell on that, but this is a new door of opportunity. And believe that, have the mental mindset of that because it can change. Like, even though it's a hard thing to go through, it's a new door of opportunity and every day you can make a difference to that. So that's
Yeah,
how I look at things with life.
yeah.
I get back up.
You sound like my good friend Chris is a business coach, and he's always talking about everything is opportunity. But if you don't see it that way, it never will be. And
Mhm,
taking the time to
mhm.
reflect rather than judge yourself on what's happened or judge the outcome or give it any more meaning than it really is, just kind of see things for how they are and then take the blank piece of paper. And that's the opportunity for you to make the notes of what went well, what didn't go well, what can we do better next time. And it's kind of that lessons learned culture. It's good, beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you doing that. So I want to ask you about you. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
I don't know because I'm very shy with compliments, James. I
Well, I
guess
gave you one
I
today.
don't
I think here's a compliment from
no,
me.
thank
You,
you.
you live in service, and that's clear. It comes across clearly, and so now anybody who ever comes in contact with you is going to remember that. Oh, Heather, she lives in service. So there's my compliment to you. But yeah,
Thank
what
you.
else is maybe trigger for you? Is there any conversations where you can think about somebody where you did make the impact, you did make the difference, and they came and told you?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say a lot of, I'm blessed that a lot of employees have come back to say thank you. Thank you for your care. You truly care about us personally. And, just being a mentor. I love being a mentor. I believe that once you're successful, give it back.
Yeah.
You can make a world of difference. And so I think by doing that, it's nice. It's nice to look back. So I'll share a good example with you. I had an intern that was in HR. He started, on the finance side, and he did an internship, and now he is a big engineer. He's back actually in my hometown, which was kind of cool, working for this big company, and just is getting married. And really exciting to see someone go from not sure what they want to do to finding their passion. And he's like, even though I went in HR and didn't expect to go in HR, the leadership and the understanding of people made me who I am for my success in engineering. So it just proves those human skills, are so critical.
I always have to say this. If you are watching this and you didn't get the keynotes in there, play that last 60 seconds back, because there's so many gems in what's being said about paying it back, paying it forward, learning the lessons of how does somebody have the career that's just been described, and Heather just dropped those. So I want you to go back and play those 60 seconds. And it really is crucial to listen to every word that's coming out, because they're the tips. And it's sometimes we don't have to, we think this, we're hearing something, but it's sometimes what's not being said, or it's the space between the words that kind of give you the clue. So I encourage everybody to go back to that. What else did I want to ask you? I wanted to ask you about what was the best advice you've ever received? So you told us the story of somebody who's just worked with you, and you've been able to see that happen. So they come back to your hometown. What about you? Who or what was the best advice you ever received from somebody else?
Um, I would say family, and family isn't just, parents, which my parents are amazing that way. Um, Leaders. I work with some amazing leaders, blessed to, and not always easy too. They would challenge, and you learn in life, don't take things personal. You learn from it and you grow. And that's what I did. And I think that's probably the best, advice I received, as well as just serving others. You don't realize how important that is and a value that is in life. You look back and you say, I made a difference, and that matters. And, what can I do for the world today, where we are, to make it better in the future, especially for multiple generations. So, diversity is really important to me. We do a lot around that, in our organization. And just, empathy, just listening. Sometimes someone just needs an ear just to vent and listen, and that's inspiring to me too, because I learn from others. So
Yeah.
that's how I look
We,
at
yeah,
it.
you're clearly a credit to that organization. We're here just to talk generically and help people with some tips and tricks along the way. But you mentioned in there, and let's finish with a couple of fun questions, perhaps. You mentioned your parents and their role in your own career and the advisory, they gave you. Let's ask this. We're going to do this part A and part B. What do your parents think you do?
What do my parents think I do? Uh, my dad always says I'm strong. He's very proud of my success because, I started with a small town. My parents were middle class. They didn't have a lot of money. I had to pay as I go for school and work, and then moved, with military moves and three kids, and,
Yeah.
8-month deployments, and, and pick up and move again. And just strong, strong
Yes, that's
and
cool.
positive,
What about mum?
and they're proud, and that made me proud because I wanted to make them proud.
Yeah. And what does
My
mum think?
mom,
What does she think you
mom
do?
would say strong. She
You
says
think?
that, she loves how um caring that I am. and a great mom. She would say I'm an
Right.
amazing mom.
So that's part A. Part B, you probably guess what's coming. What are your kids? We heard you talk about your kids early on. What do your kids think you do?
My kids are like, "I never wanna be an HR mom. That's a tough role." I'm like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "No."
Well,
But,
like they've been,
they
yeah, go for it.
they see me, which is very nice that they see me as a leader. They know I care about people. They're very patient because my role is not easy. It's a lot of time and effort. They've been really good about that. There was one year that I traveled the world and I was only home for 1 year. Like I was on a plane 98% of the time.
Wow.
And it was a great experience, but it was tough on the family. But I learned as a mom, sometimes you overcompensate for your kids. And I learned, okay, this is good because it made them more stronger and independent. So now I kind of, okay, I got to let them go and let them fly, let them land, let them dive and bounce off the grass, but they'll survive. And I've learned to do a good job with that. So I would say, especially coming from military, that was one thing that you sometimes overcompensate because you move around and you're their rock. They would say I'm their rock, but now I'm trying to say, okay, I've got to be a mom that lets them lead and be independent and fall so they can get back up.
This has
I
been
hope
awesome.
that answered your question.
No, it does. I think it's great, and it kind of gives me a great place for us to step off here, and you and I will stay on and have a chat. But you're in. I think one of the things that I want to share with you, let me tell you about you, is you're an inspiration to yourself. Just everything you've shared with us today inspires me. But I want you to know, be inspired by who you are and who you've become. You just said it there that your kids see you as a leader. So you're an inspiration to your parents. You're an inspiration to your kids. You're a credit to your organization the way you've showed up here today. And I know that everybody who gets to see this video, and it will persist. I don't know how many people ever see this, but everyone is going to get to see this and sit for 20 to 25 minutes of their life is going to get some great value. And don't be surprised if they want to look you up, because it's been awesome. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, thank you, James. It was a pleasure and just a pleasure to help others. And, I just, my heart is there to see everyone just get some motivation and know that you're never alone. We're all here for people's success, and
Oh,
and
that's
I
great.
love to hear success stories. So thank you.
All right. Well, we'll wave bye-bye to everybody. Thank you very much for joining us,
All
folks. We'll
right,
see you
bye
all soon.
everyone. Have a great day.